What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 25 of Strictly Casual, your unoriginal podcast from unprofessional college students. I'm one of your hosts, Vincent DeSantis, and this is my co-host, James Walmer, baby. How you guys doing today? How you doing?
How are we doing? I'm doing well, Vin. I'm doing great.
Good. Sweet.
Big week for gaming.
Huge week for gaming. We've had some super big events that happened yesterday.
The entire gaming sphere, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe more than the whole sphere.
Or if you're in Microsoft, the gaming box. See what I did there? Xbox.
Nice.
It wasn't
nice,
funny,
James.
but we'll
that
continue.
was close. That almost worked perfectly.
It's okay. Today, Vin, I'm looking forward to not only discussing the Xbox Game Showcase,
Okay.
but
Yes.
for Persona 5, which is coming in the mail today, and it's nice, crispy, clean steelbook.
Oh, baby.
Which I'll be streaming to my channel.
Let's go. Twitch.tv/strictlyyamas.
There it is, baby.
Plug it.
Go watch.
Okay, so we're gonna cover. If you want to hear our full notes on the live reactions,
Take care, Kelthar. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. If you want to hear the full notes and impressions on the Xbox game showcase, our live reactions, that's on YouTube right now, but we're going to go over it briefly here and talk about our opinions on it on the podcast as well. Then we have a lot of next gen news, like pricing news. We got Microsoft decisions, Rocket League, all sorts of stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff. I'm excited.
Before we jump into that, James, what have you been playing this week?
This week, I think I've been playing everything that you have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of Valorant.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You know, had probably one of the worst 2 hours of my Valorant career.
It was not that bad.
On Wednesday. It was bad.
Not even.
It was like the day before when I was playing with you and how bad you were doing. Like, it's like that equivalent.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel good.
It does not feel good at all.
It does not feel good at all. And then jumped into Master Chief Collection for a little bit of Halo multiplayer. Vin, was that your first experience with Halo multiplayer?
No, I played it before that.
Okay. But wasn't this your first time with Halo 3 multiplayer?
Yeah, first time with Halo 3 multiplayer.
First impressions.
It's fun. I just gotta get better. It's just demeaning that I'm so bad at it and everybody's so good at it.
It is a huge curve because everyone who is coming back to that game most likely has played it before.
Yeah.
And, you know, they are jumping back into the game when they were in their prime for gaming.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I played a lot of Halo this week because me and Colton were halfway through Halo Combat Evolved. We've been streaming that. I think it's about 2 more streams left and we'll finish the game. So yeah, Halo, and then I played a little Warzone, just like casually with some friends, and then a lot of Valorant. James, yesterday I played 5 ranked games, so I could rank myself on Valorant.
How'd you do?
Bronze 3, way better than I thought I was gonna do. It goes Iron.
What?
Iron 1, 2, 3, Bronze 1, 2, 3, Silver 1, 2, 3, Gold, like Platinum, Diamond, and then whatever the final one is. But I definitely thought I was gonna get. I thought I was gonna get Iron 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe it goes Bronze 3, 2, 1. No, I think it's 1, 2, 3, and then it hits the next one. Yeah, just like that.
Okay. Oh, you're top of Bronze.
Top of Bronze, baby.
Wow.
Maybe it's bottom of Bronze. Either way, I thought I was gonna get Iron. I'm happy with either.
All right.
It was great.
Proud of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. Speaking of Halo Infinite headlined the Xbox Game Showcase.
Yes, it did. And okay, do you want to go over everything here, or do you just want to like briefly go over the show and then really talk about? I think we should definitely spend a good chunk of this talking about our opinions on the show.
Yes, I think we should talk about a few of the major things they talked about. But I don't think we need to mention every single game because we do have our video up right now of our entire live reactions covering every single.
That's right.
Piece, every single release, every single trailer.
All right, let's jump on these big hitters then.
First and foremost, is Halo Infinite. Show opener. We got a cinematic trailer that was gorgeous.
Absolutely.
We got a gameplay demo. Which were you expecting?
Which was what we were expecting.
were you expecting personally a
Gameplay?
gameplay demo?
They needed it. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. So was I. What do you think? It's very controversial right now
Do you want to just
in
start
terms
off
of
with
what we think.
our Halo impressions, or should we go through the
Let's.
show and then just go
I
from?
think we'll just hit it as it
Okay,
continues to go.
Halo impressions. This is, I don't know. I don't know how. I feel like the trailer was great. The cinematic trailer was so cool. It was hype. It had the good music going. It had showed the armor off. Great hype trailer. Then he
Great
got
hype
into the
trailer.
gameplay, which was kind of what I was expecting it to be. Literally looks
Okay.
like Halo in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like it was a jump in anything. Like
Mm.
like, oh my god, this looks incredible. I was like, one, the sound design was the best part of the trailer. I thought the gun sounded great. Everything sounded like it had
It did sound
impact
very
and
good.
everything. But it still sounded like Halo, but updated like a lot, like real nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It looked okay. I didn't see anything new because James, let me tell you, I'm gonna be not tired of Halo, but I'm gonna be a Halo veteran once this is over. I'm gonna play literally every single Halo campaign, and right now I've gone through the entirety of Reach and half of Combat Evolved, and some of the encounters are already feeling a little bit samey to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say I'm not having a good time, because I'm loving it. I'm having a great time, especially playing with Colton. We're just keeping it chill, casual, and stuff, just playing.
Sure.
But I could
Strictly casual.
strictly casual. But I can see by the time I play 2 more games of this, plus I gotta play 4 and 5 after that too, and then in Infinite, this is gonna get really repetitive, dude. And I don't know if the graphic jump each time is really gonna save that. If each game is like 10 hours ish,
Right.
maybe more, it's gonna be. I don't want it to
Somewhere around there.
trek. I don't want it. I don't want to feel like I'm like pushing through. Like I just want to play it and have fun. But
Right.
I already feel like it's gonna get to a point where I'm gonna be burnt out. That Infinite. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
What did you
I
think
feel
about it?
I think the thing that worried me was just it looked very samey in terms of the gameplay loop. And you go start your area, you go through these smaller sub areas, like fighting just kind of a wave of the enemies who are already there.
Mm-hmm.
You move on to the next area of the map. Clear some enemies, move on to the next section of the map, hold X on a objective to do it, and
Yeah.
then turn around and go
Defend
back,
it.
clear another
Yeah.
wave of enemies. It just like I feel like I was expecting something to freshen the core gameplay loop a little more.
Right.
You know,
And to be fair, we haven't seen enough of it to like completely judge it yet. But off of what we saw, I didn't see anything new. Besides the grapple hook, that was cool.
grapple hook was cool, and I like the more open world style gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's akin to Halo Combat Evolved, if
Right.
I have heard correctly,
Dude,
right?
right now I'm playing Combat Evolved and I do not know where to go. Colton's like letting me lead the way to try to like play it for the first time, so I'm not just following him through. And
Sure.
like I do not know where I'm going most of the time here. It's
Wow.
a maze.
Hmm.
But another thing I would say is the map itself, like that was pulled up in the demo, looked
Sure.
cool, which gives me some sort of hope that there's going to be. I don't want it to be like open world Halo. I don't really care about that much. But if there's more open areas that you have, if they try to make it like rewarding to explore, not
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you got lost, you're gonna have to fight through
Right.
these enemies to get back to the objective. That's gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't
Makes
know.
me curious. I don't think, or like, not that I don't think, but I'm just curious how they would explore exploration in a game like Halo. It's not an
Right,
RPG where you're looking for loot or gear,
right.
so how would they go about rewarding that exploration? Maybe lore or something
I
like that, where
guess.
I don't know.
This is not to say I'm not excited for Halo, because
Yeah,
I'm gonna play it when it comes out.
me too.
But I'm just not like I'm not my jaw isn't dropped or anything like I am with Cyberpunk, like stuff like
Mhm.
that.
And lastly, how do you feel about the graphics? Because this
The
is another
graphics.
controversial topic
While I was
on
watching
Twitter.
it, the only thing I noticed at the beginning was when Master Chief and the other character are flying in the ship, the other character's face looked like very smooth to me, and like not it just didn't look great, his face.
Yeah.
But while the gameplay was going, I didn't really notice anything. But that's also because we were watching it stream through YouTube and then stream through Discord to watch it, and so I was just seeing like artifacting and stuff. I was like, okay, that's on our end. Like the game probably looks better. But then I went on Twitter, dude, and Twitter had the 4K screenshots and stuff, and I was like, this is rough. This is really rough. And now I understand a lot of people are defending it, saying like, oh, it's the art style, or like this is what Halo's supposed to look like, that kind of thing. I'm like, I guess. Like, it's just not a convincing argument to me because it doesn't look far off from 5 at all.
Right.
Maybe at times worse than 5. Call me crazy, but there's that one brute, not brute, but
it's a brute. The one with the blue.
Yeah, the blue brute guy, and it's like a close up on him, and there's just no shadow, and it's just like a mesh thing. I don't know. It didn't look great at all.
Yeah. I went back and I rewatched the trailer this morning before this, and it pretty much looks the same.
Okay. It's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible at all. It looks fine.
No,
it's just not a next gen leap. I was like, no. If you are trying to show off the Xbox Series X, and you show this game graphically, it's not the push. It's not the push to next gen.
Right.
But we'll talk about next gen upgrades after this, because literally all of these games today are shown that are coming to Game Pass on PC as well as Xbox Series X.
Here's the last thing I want to briefly mention. We can talk about this after we're done with the whole conference, or we can talk about it now. The multiplayer.
Oh, let's talk about the multiplayer. Yeah. So
okay,
you go for it.
On Twitter today, Colton says, I disagree. 343 had a lot of time to polish this, and if your previous game of 5 years ago looks better than this one, that's a big F. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a huge F.
That is a huge F. I agree.
But that's something we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, unfortunately. There's a tweet today that said that there is a possibility that Halo Infinite might not launch with multiplayer.
That's a huge blow.
I forgot who that tweet came from.
It was Nibel.
Oh, it was Nibel?
Yeah, Nibel tweeted that he got it from a source. So it's not confirmed or anything, but can you imagine how terrible that would be?
Is a very reliable journalist.
Yeah. That would be awful.
Yeah.
That would be so bad. Literally, people are going to play that campaign and however long it's going to take and not continue to play it. Like, Halo multiplayer, from what it sounds like and seems like, people play it for nostalgia years later, or, like, I still see people playing Halo 5 multiplayer, even though the campaign isn't noted as very good, right?
Yeah.
But there's still diehard multiplayer fans. It would just be so dumb if they don't launch it with multiplayer. So dumb to me.
I was huge into Halo multiplayer for a long time.
Yeah.
All the way through Halo 4.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's just a bad call. And then right under that tweet, you were showing me a comment that said, like, Activision would never launch Call of Duty without its multiplayer. Like, that's just not how it works. I mean, obviously Call of Duty and Halo are different. Call of Duty relies more on its multiplayer than its campaign, whereas Halo, I don't really know if they rely on one or the other more, but their campaigns are pretty much noted as, across the board, better experiences than Call of Duty campaigns. So
yes, that's fair.
Yeah, that's it on that.
All right, I think that's it for Halo. I think the next biggest game that we see, or at least I think one of the biggest ones in the conference that kind of it was big for Microsoft is Destiny 2.
Dude.
And the Beyond Light expansion. I don't know, Vin, is there anything else on this list that you think we should talk about before Destiny 2?
No, I guess that was the next big one, is the Destiny 2 thing, to me. I mean,
there's a new Rare game called Everwild.
We got a new Forza.
That's
going to look incredible.
Obsidian's making their own game that's Skyrim-esque.
That's what I'm most
is
excited
pretty
about.
cool.
Most new thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Destiny 2.
But let's get to Destiny 2.
Was
yes.
not. This is the biggest surprise of the conference for me, and I'm kind of bummed that it was the biggest surprise of the conference. This game is old. Destiny 2 is not a new game. It's been out for 3 years, 4 years, which is crazy to think. But okay, basically, Destiny 2 is coming improved to PS5 and Xbox Series X, like the 60 frames per second performance mode playing in 4K. But the big surprise was that Destiny 2 is coming to Game Pass on Xbox Series X and PC, with all expansions. So like you could pay for the 1 month of Game Pass PC and get Beyond Light with it. And Beyond Light is Destiny 2's new expansion, by the way. That's crazy to me. That's really cool.
That means you could pay about, how much is Xbox or Game Pass PC? It's like $5 a month just for PC.
Yeah, but that's the beta price. I'm sure when they launch Xbox Series X, that their Game Pass PC is gonna go out of beta, especially if they're gonna be launching Halo Infinite and stuff like that on it.
Maybe it's gonna go up to 10.
Maybe, yeah, maybe something in between.
Okay. But think about it. If you pay even $10 a month, if you pay $10 a month for Game Pass, you're saving the like $40 you pay for Destiny 2.
Yep.
Well, I guess Destiny 2 is free to play now, right?
Base is free to play.
Base. So if you pay for, you'd still have to pay for all the previous expansions too, right? To get those other subclasses and things like that.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get,
those always get discounted to like $5 to $10 when a new expansion comes out, so that the barrier to entry is a little bit easier. But it still sucks.
And you save the money that you would pay for the Beyond Light expansion.
Right.
And you'd only have to pay for the season pass.
That's an interesting thought. If you have Game Pass with Destiny 2, with the new expansion, do you have to pay for the season passes, or do the season passes come included with Game Pass? Because if so, then Game Pass is only good for Destiny for 4 months, and then you're already above what you would have been spending anyways on console. That's if you're not playing any other games. Yeah. That's like obviously that's playing devil's advocate, and like if you're only playing Destiny 2 on Xbox Game Pass, after 4 months, you're gonna be above what you would have paid a one-time price on console.
Like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, I guess if it's 60 for the season, all the season passes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, especially because like all of my Destiny friends are on PlayStation. And so it's hard for me to commit to PC Destiny when I can't.
Well, they're gonna do. Well, you will be able to in early 2021, right?
Let's go.
And especially that helps because of the pushback to November for Dying Light to come out anyway, right? So it's only about a 2 to 3 month, maybe 4 month gap in between.
Right. I think crossplay is going to get delayed for Destiny again.
You think so?
Yeah. They've been talking about it for a while, and that date was kind of just thrown out there.
Okay.
But I can't wait. That would be great. Especially since Destiny, they're committing to like years of it. They need that. That'd be so great, you know? Because like James, you and I have buddies that play on PlayStation, but I don't have enough room on my PlayStation 4 to download Destiny again because it's an absolute giant. Yeah. And so I have it on my PC right now, but I can't play with those people. It's rough.
Very rough.
Is there anything else about this conference you want to go for besides talking about Fable? And are you hyped for Fable?
I am hyped for Fable, man.
Cool.
I played the shit out of Fable 3.
I
know it's regarded as the worst one, but I played the shit out of Fable 3.
Okay. I've never played a Fable game. So
I think you at least have to play like Fable 1, which is regarded as the best.
Okay. And I'm bummed it's not on Game Pass because I'd love to play it on Game Pass.
But it's $8.74 on Steam.
That's true. That is true.
It's only like $40.
It's not that expensive, which is nice.
Deep discount.
Okay. Now let me talk a little bit about my thoughts after the conference, unless there's anything during the conference you want to go for.
What are your thoughts after the conference?
My thoughts after the conference was exactly what I was fearing, which is there is zero incentive for me to buy an Xbox Series X in the situation that I'm in. And that situation is I love my PlayStation exclusive titles, and I also have a PC. I know not everybody is like lucky enough to have that setup, right? Like I feel grateful that I have both of these things. But I can play every single one of the games they talked about today. I think every single one, maybe not like one or two, on my PC on Game Pass.
Fairly sure every single one.
Okay. I'm gonna play Halo Infinite not on a Series X. I'm gonna play it on my PC because there's no reason for me to spend $500 on a console when I can play it for $10. You know what I mean? James, call me crazy. Xbox is not going to win this console generation in console sales. I think they're going to win in signups for Game Pass. They'll have more players on Game Pass than PlayStation will have.
In their entire player base?
No, because I think PlayStation has 100 million consoles sold? PlayStation 4?
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So many PlayStations out there.
There's no way there's going to be 100 million Game Pass signups. I wonder what they're at right now.
Yeah.
I would say they're probably at 10 million Game Pass signups. That's a guess. Maybe when Infinite, we'll triple that. We'll go 40 to 50,000 or 40 to 50 million Game Pass signups. Maybe. This will be an interesting number, actually, if you're Googling it. I'm super curious.
In the Q3 2020 earnings call, Microsoft disclosed that the service has over 10 million subscribers.
I was right on.
There you
I
go,
said
baby.
10 million. Okay.
There you go. Look at that.
That's 1/10 of the people that own a PlayStation.
Yeah. And keep in mind that Game Pass is available on Xbox One as well.
Yeah, Xbox One and PC. Yeah.
So that's across Xbox One and PC.
I know friends that have Xbox that did not even know the extent to what Game Pass was, though. Like, I was explaining how I was...
Very interesting.
I was on Game Pass for PC, and they're like, wait, how? Like, what is Game... Like, they did not understand the concept of Game Pass, and I had to explain to them,
Weird.
Like, this is the best deal you have. Like, you have an Xbox? Like, you should definitely be
You
on this.
need to have Game Pass.
Yeah, it's like the best part of Xbox right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that actually sounds really cool. I was like, yeah, look at all these games you can play. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll get the word out more about what Game Pass actually is, and it's going to see a big spike. But I still don't think it's going to have more users than a PlayStation console, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to measure it, dude. But if it's in console sales, I think Xbox is going to lose it. And I didn't want to say that, especially, I know, oh, PlayStation fanboy, look at me. But I don't know.
And I've been talking to a lot of people who are more inclined to be Xbox or Microsoft supporters than Sony or PlayStation supporters. And I think a lot of them are saying that Microsoft's creative vision for this generation is less console intensive.
Right. And I heard that too. And all the Xbox fans are telling me that. And I don't want that to be like the reason, because they're pushing the console so hard. You know what I mean? They announced it first. They're waiting for the price. If they weren't actually trying to push the console, they would have laid all their cards out on the table. You know what I mean? Like if they really weren't trying to push the console, we would have already known everything by now. Almost everything. But they're playing the hype card, and they're playing the we want to beat PlayStation card and stuff like that. I don't see that at all, that they're not trying to push the console.
Yeah. I agree.
That's just my thoughts.
I agree.
So yeah, as a person with a PlayStation and PC, I will be continuing on the PlayStation hype train to PS5, but I won't be forgetting about these Xbox games, because I will be playing some of them on my PC.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about how a lot of these games that they said were console exclusives
are not
console exclusives, not because they're also coming to PC, but because they're simply timed exclusives.
Yeah. Like, for instance, Crossfire, that was just an announcement at the game, or at the Xbox thing. That's coming to PS5, that's coming to Xbox One and PC. And on Game Pass, you only get the multiplayer for free. You have to buy the campaign separately, which is another thing. That was in the fine print right underneath the
Yes, I
trailer.
saw that underneath.
Um, I what else? State of Decay 3, that'll be an Xbox exclusive. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes, because both of the prior games were Xbox exclusives.
And Avowed,
Psychonauts,
I don't think Avowed
Psychonauts
is.
2, I don't think Avowed is. Psychonauts 2, I don't think is.
Oh, also, people were saying that Hellblade is not going to be out till 2023.
I don't know why you'd advertise for a game that early in
Dude,
advance.
they had a picture of location scouting.
Yeah,
That's what you
exactly.
do
How Call of Duty is a PlayStation.
years prior to making the game. You go location scouting. That's
Yeah.
insane. I don't really know. Yeah, okay, that's all I got on the Xbox conference. I could go on and on, but I feel like I'd just repeat myself, you know?
That's also how I feel. Now, moving on.
Yes.
This is moving on the Xbox train, okay? A lot of Xbox news.
Yeah.
This comes from Kotaku, from Ethan Gach.
Ethan Gach.
I don't know if it's Gach or Gach. I don't know. It depends on his nationality.
I like Gach.
Anyway. It sounds funny. Anyway, Microsoft walks back promise to make its early Series X games cross-gen.
Walks back its promise. We don't like to hear that.
Walks back. No, they really undid everything that they were ramping it up to in order to try and maintain the balance between next gen and current gen releases, right? In order to smoothly phase in the next gen and phase out last gen. Sony originally was very hard about this nail in the coffin. They said, you know what, we're not going to be interested in trying to smooth the transition process. We just want to inaugurate PS5 titles and kind of forget about PS4 because we want to focus on this next generation.
I don't think they're forgetting about PS4.
No, but they're focused on PS5.
Absolutely. Yep.
In the original statement from Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, quote, said, as our content comes out over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down that family of devices, end quote, referring to playing up and down from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X, so on and so forth. Phil Spencer then reaffirmed this statement to make its games playable across both Xbox One and Series X in a blog post, saying, quote, you won't be forced into the next generation. We want every Xbox player to play all the new games from Xbox Game Studios. That's why Xbox Game Studios titles we release in the next couple of years, like Halo Infinite, will be available and play great on Xbox Series X and Xbox One. We won't force you to upgrade to Xbox Series X at launch to play exclusives, end quote. I don't necessarily agree with that philosophy, or I don't promote it. I don't think that's the best option in terms of furthering hardware and great titles, but I definitely see where he wants to go with that, and I respect that. Going on. However, a number of reveals on Thursday's Xbox Game Showcase only featured Xbox Series X and Windows PC in their closing footage. Right underneath,
that's true.
It would be the title card, and it would be available on Xbox Series X and Windows PC, or Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Windows PC. And they counted 5 games in total that did not have Xbox One listed. Of these are Fable, Everwild, Avowed, Forza Motorsport, and State of Decay 3. Now, Ethan mentions, while games like Halo Infinite long confirmed, let me start this over. While games like Halo Infinite were long confirmed to be available on all 3 of these platforms were listed, he also speculates that games like Fable and State of Decay 3 aren't really. So these ones that are more ambiguous and more likely to be in the experimental stages, that don't show gameplay, but you really just get a story trailer, a CGI trailer that you're like, oh, this probably isn't coming out for a few more years. It might be fair to say that, okay, like his earlier statement doesn't apply to these games because these are going to be released in about 3 years outside of that window of the transition.
Sure.
However, Ethan Gach says that it's been 3 years since a Forza Motorsport title,
Mm-hmm.
and that is traditionally a launch window title
Yeah.
to show off the new hardware. And this would suggest that it is closer to release than some of the other games shown. And so,
I bet Forza's going to launch with Series X.
but it didn't say that it would.
It didn't say that at all. Yeah.
Kotaku reached out to Microsoft to clarify and were met with the following statement. Quote, "Our future Xbox Game Studios titles are being developed natively for Xbox Series X. We will continue to invest in tools for devs to scale across consoles, sorry, I am struggling with reading today. Which consoles each studio/game can support will be based on what's best for their game and their community at launch." End quote. It's a little vague.
Yeah.
As a result, we can only suggest that these multi-generational titles must come on a simply case-by-case basis.
Okay. So Ryder, this is good. This is perfect timing. Ryder just posed a question to us that says, do you all think them saying optimized on next gen is kind of limiting since the game also has to play on current gen? Well, I think that's what we're talking about now, is that we don't know if all these are coming to current gen. That's the worry.
Right.
That's the worry.
Mm-hmm.
That they could be preaching all this about them having it like across generations and stuff, but how many games are actually going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
How many games can actually do that? Like, what can run on the Series X and the Series X and the Xbox One X?
Right.
But I do think it's going to be limiting if a developer were to make a game that's playing on both. They're going to have to limit some things to play them on the.
Absolutely. And they have to put in that extra time, development time, in order to make it compatible
right
with last gen, right? And put in the tools in order to scale those things down for the hardware.
Yep.
Which isn't like, to be honest, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, that's so much effort for a developer to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that on PC all the time with just like optimizing for different graphics settings.
Yeah.
And it's easy. You just have,
right.
And if you have a third-party software like NVIDIA GeForce,
mm-hmm.
it'll just automatically optimize it, or games,
awesome.
Which is great. Or you'll have games that have like a auto settings feature where you just say, oh, boom, click auto, and it scans your computer and says what you have.
Yep.
And then automatically adjust the settings to
Dude, that NVIDIA feature
it says.
Is so nice. You can run a little thing on there, like on the actual NVIDIA app on the computer, or the application.
NVIDIA GeForce, yeah.
Yeah, the GeForce application, and you can pick a game, and it goes through your hardware, and like these are probably the best optimized settings. You might be able to squeeze it with this, like, and they give the stretch settings.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. That's what I use for Modern Warfare on the PC. Their optimized
It's incredible
settings or whatever, and it's
I love
perfect.
it.
I would have never guessed like that I could do like ultra shadows or whatever, and then I roll back a couple things that I wasn't thinking about. Runs great.
It runs great.
Yeah, it's just what they said.
Sorry, I'm reading Ryder's comments.
Yeah, no worries.
Personally, I'm like, okay, y'all don't have to make it so limited. Make the game as advanced as possible for the new console to handle.
I know, if people are working, let's say this would absolutely suck as a developer, James. You're making a game for the Xbox Series X for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. You think it has the best graphics Xbox has seen. You're proud of it. It runs great and perfect. And then not Phil Spencer, but someone from the head of Xbox comes in and sits you down for a meeting and says, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. Your game needs to be playable on the Series X and the Xbox One X. Imagine how.
And so you got to start figuring out what you can get rid of, what you can scale down.
You got to scale down, and then you're not as proud of your game anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, that's also really shitty for the developers. They like work hard on it to make it look good.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the many. I bet there's a lot. There's probably a lot of examples of that. I guarantee it.
Sure.
That's it. That's all I got on the crossplay.
I'm just hoping that the infrastructure being more PC-like on the current and next generation of consoles will make that easier for developers to modify their settings.
Yeah, that would be great.
And that's my hope.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
yeah, that's all I have.
That's all. Okay, all right.
That's all I have.
That's most of our Xbox news today. There's a little more at the end. Okay, James, you read that while I read this. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Rocket League will soon be free to play. I'm pretty excited about this. Is there anything that we should read real quick, or should I just go into this?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
Ryder says, if anything, they should say, or I'll start from the beginning. Yeah, exactly. Then Microsoft and Phil says, hey, downgrade it to include all players. If anything, they should say it only works on the next gen, so it forces people to get it. I thought that's the normal company policy. Aren't they trying to welcome all the new players and promote the next generation of hardware? And so I agree with that, and I think that's what
Sony's doing.
I think that's what Sony's doing. I think that's the best way in order to market new consoles is to have a hard cutoff, even though some people might be upset about it, that they have to buy a new piece of hardware to play all these games. I think even Microsoft is an even better opportunity in a better place to do this because they have Game Pass, right? So that you can market to those people who say, oh, I don't want to pay $400 or $500 for a new console and then have to pay $60, $70 for titles on top of that. Microsoft can just say, listen, here's your $500, $400 console, and then you just pay $10 a month. It'll be good. You don't have to pay all this extra money because all these new games are going to be on Game Pass. And I think that's what they're doing without explicitly saying, and I think they should be explicitly like making that sentence say you don't have to pay $60 for all these games on top of your console because there is Game Pass.
That's
I think they need to explicitly communicate that in order for it to be an effective marketing tool, because I think that's what Game Pass can be, is an effective marketing tool for their new console. But I think they're not taking the steps to make Xbox Game Pass do the promotion for their console.
Xbox Game Pass is taking the lead more than the console is right now.
Exactly.
But now that you say that, and I that's like, it's funny you say that because obviously, like, in my mind, I know, like, okay, you can play Game Pass on your Xbox Series X, but the way you just explained it there is 100% how Xbox should be explaining it. Because you said that and something clicked, even though I already knew that information. Someone hire James.
Hire me on your marketing team.
Yeah, get him in here. Get him in there.
Phil, I'm looking at you.
Yep. Absolute sex god, Phil Spencer. Yeah. No, I'm serious. That was the best explanation of how it should be.
And it's true though. Like, that's not even. You're not saying anything
false.
Wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying anything that is not already what is going to happen.
Right. I agree.
It's just that Microsoft needs to be explicit and say the advantage of having Game Pass.
Right. I agree with you 100%.
So
I'm all for it.
Rant over.
Okay.
Rant over.
All right. Now on to Rocket League. This will be quick. Rocket League is going free to play, which I'm kind of excited about. So developed by, I don't know how to say this, Psyonix, thank you. I knew that. Psyonix. Rocket League is a highly addictive online multiplayer game that has you playing soccer using rocket-powered cars. Its unique yet effective gameplay has helped it amass a following of millions who log in daily to sharpen their skills. On the 21st of July 2020, it was announced that Rocket League will be free to play. Max Parker, the editorial manager at... Say it again. Psyonix, thank you. At Psyonix, made an announcement on the PlayStation blog. There, he revealed that the title will soon be free to play in 2020. The game also will receive a significant update that will overhaul the menus. He also announced significant improvements to major features such as tournaments and challenges. They're rewarding longtime players, which is very important if you're going free to play. If you played Rocket League before it becomes free to play, you will be rewarded with legacy status. As Parker explains, this will include many perks, such as all Rocket League branded DLC. Do you know what that means, James? I'm going to be playing with the DeLorean in Rocket League, and I won't have to pay $30 for it. That's a dub. you will get 200 plus common items that will be upgraded to legacy quality. So all of the basic things that you unlock right away at the game will now become legacy tier, and other people will not be able to get it.
Epic.
And then you will also get an established in 20 blah 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 title that explains the first year you played Rocket League. So bro, I'm gonna have a 2014 legacy title.
Same, dog.
Back
Remember that when it came out on PlayStation Plus for free?
That's when I got it.
We didn't play him for free, baby.
So they're also expecting to do complete crossplay, which they don't completely have yet. You can play Switch and Xbox, but not Switch and PlayStation, like things like that. They have the weird thing going on right now because PlayStation's playing hardball like they always do. Super stupid.
Yeah.
But that's awesome because I got it on my Switch a couple years ago, or maybe like a year ago, because I had a bunch of friends playing it on Switch. And that was so much fun. That was worth like the $15 I got it for. It was great, and it runs really well on the Switch. I was surprised.
Yeah.
But now that it's going to be cross-platform and everything, the only problem is none of my stuff carried over from PlayStation to Switch. And now my Switch has way more cool stuff. Even though I have way more hours on my PlayStation, I had friends trade me cool stuff on the Switch, so now I have like awesome stuff. We'll see about that later. Anyways, this is cool. This is good news.
Yeah, this is cool.
I think Rocket League is tons of fun in short stints for me. Like I'll go a couple weeks where I play it with buddies nonstop, and I have a great time. And then I kind of fall off, and I come back whenever. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be like that. The people who don't play hardcore.
I feel like this might be my time to jump back into Rocket League because I don't own it on PC. I don't think.
Yeah, me neither.
Or maybe I do, but if I don't, it'll be a good time for me to jump back in.
James, this will be the best time to jump in because people are so sweaty and good at that game that with the influx of new players, you're going to be killing it. Just play it a week before it comes out, get used to the controls. You're going to be a god in no time.
I've known to be fairly good at Rocket League.
Good. Absolutely.
And I can't wait to jump back in. This week, there's something coming out of left field. Okay.
Yes.
Star Wars Squadrons, a game we've known about for a long time, has gotten into the hands of journalists this week. Journalists, people have gone or been able to go into the game, play a few hours, play the prologue of the story, as well as some of their multiplayer modes. And so what I did was I took some of these journalist companies, IGN, The Verge, and kind of summarized their gameplay experience just so that you guys can get kind of a second-hand feel for what, or I guess it's third-hand by this point, of what exactly it feels like to play this game. So I'm going to start with IGN and just go over some of the points that I thought were important in as to how the game runs, how it feels, who this game is for, etc., etc., etc. First off, the flying and the combat feels really solid. This is ultimately the most important because that's what you're going to be doing 100% of the time. Literally 100% of the time. The targeting systems are effective and fairly intuitive. I guess there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's fairly intuitive. There's a number of additions. This is one thing that they continually go back to in both The Verge and IGN's articles about it is there's a number of additional systems woven into the combat loop to further the depth for more advanced players, which is what I'm really looking forward to seeing. Maybe not playing for myself, but seeing how other people are able to really take hold of this game.
Right.
There's power management, optional front and rear shields, customizable ship loadouts, drifting, and all sorts of guns and gadgets. I heard there is an insurmountable number of guns in this game that you can put on your ship, which is very cool. But unfortunately, you cannot interact with your droid, which is a major F. Going to the multiplayer, the structure was plenty engaging. I heard it resembles Conquest from Star Wars Battlefront 2015.
Okay.
Ultimately, this is quote, ultimately, Fleet Battle is an admirable attempt to deliciously complicate the idea of a dogfight but it's not the most ambitious version I've ever encountered, end quote. It's not the most original, but it sounds like it's still a lot of fun. There are 4 fighter types, but they don't vary drastically in terms of gameplay. So Michael Swaim writes, however, quote, Squadrons knows what it's about. It's a very focused game on a path as narrow and thrilling as any Death Star trench. If you're into first-person space combat, I doubt a tighter package will come along this year.
Okay.
And if you're a fan of multiplayer team sports, you could certainly have a lot of fun putting together a squad of fighter pilot friends and taking a run at becoming the scourge of the servers.
That's kind of what I wanted to hear.
Yes, it's a it's a niche game. And they know that it's a niche game.
That's why it's $40.
That's why it's $40. And I think Nick Stat's Verge article makes me even a little more excited for this. He says it feels true to the series without veering too much into flight simulator territory. It's actually very difficult if you're not already familiar with broader flight sim and space combat genres of games. So definitely going back to that game learning curve that might be with like a EVE Online, rest in peace, or an Elite Dangerous sort of thing. It's the accessibility is designed like a racing game, and if you've ever played like Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that, it can get very complicated. Like I know in racing games you can like turn off and on the racing lines that tell you when to slow down and to speed up in order to take those corners exactly perfectly right, especially if you get into some like the manual transmissions where you have to click bumpers to go up and down gears and keep track of that,
which is awesome.
There are sets of systems that automate these tasks until you learn how to use them, right? It feels like a faithful recreation of the chaos of a space battle.
Here's what I am very excited about when you read these. I was definitely expecting this to be super arcadey. And from these impressions, it sounds like there's like a skill curve, which is exactly what I want.
It sounds like it's the exact opposite of arcadey.
Yeah, which is great. So that makes
you're
me
not
very
getting
excited.
that 2015 Battlefront space battle.
Negative.
Or did Star Wars Battlefront 2 come out in like 2017?
Yeah, but Battlefront 1, I think Battlefront 1 had better space combat than Battlefront 2.
It didn't even have space combat. It was all in...
What do you mean? Yeah, it did. Oh.
It wasn't in space.
Yeah, but it had better ship flying than the second one.
I agree.
Sorry. Yeah, I should have clarified. My bad. The maps were different. Same thing, though.
I definitely agree. The game will also support hands-on throttle and stick controllers for a true flight sim experience.
And be able to grab the
joystick and the little... Which, if I was into this game, I would totally.
Absolutely.
Or if I was into flight sims, I would. Oh my god. They talk a little bit about the story portion, saying there's strong writing and dialogue playing throughout the cockpit communication. Excuse me. And it's estimated to be about 8 to 15 hours for the story. So kind of average, multiplayer focus, but we'll give you a story sort of thing. Going into the multiplayer, again, there's intricate power management features that allow players who want a deeper experience to have exactly that. It's kind of like in Star Trek when they say like shields facing forward, divert all power to the engines, like that sort of thing. Like that's what you're doing a lot of the time when you're playing this game. And his final quote that I think sums up exactly what his experience was with this game says, quote, "It's worth noting that Squadrons knows what it's about. It's a very focused game on a path as narrow and thrilling." Is that the same one that I read earlier?
Yeah.
No, but he uses the same analogy.
Oh, okay.
On a path as narrow and thrilling as any Death Star trench. If you're into first person, no, it's the same one.
It is the same, yeah. That's right.
Who originally said it then? Maybe I didn't.
Maybe it wasn't Nick Stat.
Maybe I just accidentally copied and pasted the same quote.
All good.
I think that's what I did. Everybody, I'd like you to know that I work hard at my craft. I promise I'm a good journalist. I'm gonna find this now because Vin, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about
That's
Star Wars?
that. I don't really have any other thoughts besides I wanna like have hands on. I probably won't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you think it came to something like Game Pass, you'd play it?
yeah, great example of a Game Pass game that I would definitely play.
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass is gonna be that sweet medium of things that I'm not gonna buy, but games that I want to play.
All right, I found the quote.
Okay, hit me.
It's worth noting that Squadrons doesn't seem like it will be for everyone, just like how Fallen Order was a very specific type of action role-playing game. Squadrons is trying to make a crossover space combat title that can appeal to hardcore fans and exist comfortably alongside genre mainstays like Elite Dangerous. It's a tough juggling act, and my biggest fear is that the steep difficulty curve means that most players won't be able to cut it when they get through the campaign and find that the multiplayer is all that's left.
Hey, difficulty. That's what we need in this kind of game. You need it to be difficult.
However, it's worth noting that there's no microtransactions, and so there's not a lot of unlockables, I don't think, in terms of like cosmetics. And so you can't pay money for ship cosmetics even if you wanted to.
Okay.
And so
maybe it won't matter.
I guess everything's unlockable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this journalist, Nick Stat, is worried that people won't have something to motivate them to progress
the Fortnite
in
effect.
the multiplayer. Yeah, it's the Fortnite effect.
They don't have the Fortnite effect.
Exactly. That's his fear.
Okay.
Which I don't necessarily agree with.
It's a good point, but yeah, I don't know. That's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a free-to-play game with cosmetics. It's a paid game.
Yeah.
It doesn't need cosmetics, but we'll see.
No, I don't think it needs, especially in a game that's all first person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I read, it was either Nick Stat or someone else there saying like their whole cockpit was like Darth Vader themed.
That's
they had
cool.
like little Darth Vader bobbleheads and stuff like that.
That is super sick.
That's very cool. I like that.
Imagine
stuff.
customizing your cockpit.
Especially like I bet like bobbleheads and stuff like shake with the ship.
That would be sick.
That's sick.
Okay, next up, Ubisoft's next gen 2020 launches will be $60, but does not rule out future price increases. James, just a couple weeks ago, we reported on 2K increasing their prices for NBA 2K21 to $70.
Yep.
We were worried that the shift
with
was
no upgrade.
With no upgrade, thank you.
Yeah.
It would be $70 on next gen, and $70 on PS4 and Xbox, right?
I believe so. But if you want to upgrade, you have to pay $99 instead of. So instead, you either buy PS4 and then buy the PS5, or if you're like, oh, I'm definitely gonna play it on both, you paid $99.
Got it.
And get it on both current and next gen.
Oof, that's a big oof.
Yeah.
We were worried that this was gonna make a trend to make games $70 the standard, but Ubisoft. During Ubisoft's Q1 2020-2021 earnings call, it confirmed that its fall 2020 games, including Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, will be $60 when they launch on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. However, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot specifically mentions the game scheduled for release this holiday potentially leaving the door open for a price increase. There was a response that says, and I quote, "For the Christmas games, we plan to come with the same price as the previous generation of consoles. That's what we're focused on at the moment." Later in that call, he reiterated the $60 price, but did not commit to saying that all future next-gen games would be $60. The move by Ubisoft differs from 2K's decision to make NBA's 2K21 $70 on PS5 and Xbox Series X, as opposed to the $60 price tag on current-gen systems. So from this, it sounds like for now, most people are going to be sticking with that $60 price tag, but we should not be surprised if there's an increase to $70, maybe midway through the console generation.
I think it's funny that Ubisoft is just like, yeah, 2K is kind of just being pretentious assholes with the $70 price tag. Like, we don't need that. And, this is a company that's putting out big games like Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Right. That could do it. those people could.
That
do the
definitely
70.
could. Like,
Yeah.
especially a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla
Mm-hmm.
could justify that $70 price tag. Because they could say, like, oh, there's definitely $70 worth of content
Right.
in this game, right? When NBA 2K is saying, like, oh, like,
It's because of the
it's
graphics,
$70
man.
because the graphics are just so good that it
So
requires a premium
Absolutely.
price to our
An exclusive price.
Yeah.
But they know people buy it every single dang time.
Yep, every time. All right, Vin, take this next one.
Okay.
Too.
I'll take this one. Oh, let's see. All right. PlayStation 5 purchases will be limited to only one console per customer. We're getting closer and closer. Oh, this comes from Game Debate. We're getting closer and closer to that holiday 2020 release period when the next generation of consoles are supposed to release. And whichever side you're on, we all know that the demand is going to be pretty high this year thanks to the technological hype and the increased demand during the global COVID-19 lockdown. Sony, it seems, has reportedly implemented a rule to only allow one PS5 purchase per customer, seemingly in response to keep the demand at bay. While searching through the source code on PlayStation Direct website, a Reddit user noticed an interesting error message relating to the PlayStation 5. You can only purchase one version of the PS5 console, disc or digital. You have to have already added one PS5
You have already added one
Sorry.
PS5 console.
You have already added one PS5 console to your cart. This seemingly confirms that the one per customer rule put out by Sony. However, it's unclear whether this rule will be imparted on third-party retailers and whether this is strictly to do with Sony's own PlayStation Store. James, I also heard that this rule will be applying to an address. You cannot ship two PlayStations to one address, to the same address.
And that's from PlayStation's.
That's from PlayStation. Third party, why would they even try to worry about that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, unless Sony reached out to third party retailers and were like, yo, you can't do this.
Here's a thought, James. Do you think that when you pre-order the PlayStation, you're only going to be able to pre-order it through Sony and have it shipped from Sony? I think, wouldn't that save them money than distributing it to other locations and stuff when they're going to have to ship all these anyway?
That is a possibility, but I think I remember getting my PS4 from Amazon.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
No, you did. Like, PS4 launched everywhere. Like, I had a buddy that waited at Best Buy and stuff. But especially right now, if stores are still closed and stuff like that, people aren't going to really... I mean, people are going to go in and get them. But I think the percentage will be much lower who actually go in and buy them versus getting it shipped to them. It would be smart if they really doubled down on this. Not saying I totally agree with this or not. But if they double down on this and only ship it from Sony, that'd be interesting.
That'd be an interesting move.
But this is basically just to stop like price gougers. People that buy 10, up them and sell them. That's all this is to stop.
Absolutely. Which I have friends who are price gougers who like bought like multiple Last of Us. Excuse me, multiple Last of Us PS4 Pros.
Yeah.
You know, and sold them for, you know,
Way
double because they're exclusive. Yeah. But yeah.
I know I bought my PlayStation 4 from a guy that bought 10 and then he was selling them. I got it for the same price. He didn't make a profit, which was awesome, but
wow.
I got it.
Because you're his buddy, probably?
It was a buddy's uncle. And PS4 was sold out everywhere, and I was like 2 weeks after it launched. Then I had enough money, so I didn't really get it on launch day. I got it. But it was a launch day PlayStation, so it had that little like
there you go.
thing on it.
I don't think it had a...
There's like a marking underneath like one of the trays.
For real?
Yeah, and then I got water spilled on it. My uncle spilled water on it, different uncle. And it completely fried it with Destiny in there. It was the day Destiny 1 came out, and so I didn't get to play Destiny 1 for a couple weeks until I got a replacement. Gamer moments. Okay.
Major gamer moments.
That's it on that.
Unreal Engine 5, I should say, will cause game files sizes to skyrocket. Sorry, Vin, I'm really struggling with reading today.
Dude, it's all okay.
I'm going to start that over. Unreal Engine 5 will cause game files to skyrocket, according to developer.
Yep.
This comes from Game Debate also. Let's get... Oh my god, what was that? It's becoming an increasing concern over the last few years that game file sizes are increasing at an alarming rate.
Yes.
Call of Duty Warzone is one of the most recent titles to break a whopping 200 gigabyte plus file size.
Ew.
That's about 3 times the size of Grand Theft Auto 5. But whilst we all bite our nails with anxiety, according to one developer, the use of Unreal Engine 5 for future games will cause those file sizes to skyrocket even further. Ryan Shaw, a lead programmer and CEO of studio Kaitatus and Friends. Any better guess on that one, Vin?
No, it sounds about right.
Kaitatus. Could be that.
Mm-hmm.
And Friends recently told the press his feelings towards Unreal Engine 5 currently. Quote, "It looks absolutely fantastic, especially the nanite system for a start. I had to scoop my jaw off the floor after that.
Wow.
It takes a lot of the headache out of asset creation, but at the same time, it starts to raise more concerns." End quote. Those concerns seem to be mostly centered around game file sizes, including Call of Duty Warzone, which he explains further. Quote, "One of the examples is Call of Duty Warzone at the minute, as people are harassing Activision over the size of Call of Duty Warzone. And I think we've got techniques now in the Unreal Engine 5 that allow us to use the original source meshes with the original source textures and everything like that. The game file sizes are going to have to skyrocket, which presents a unique set of challenges." End quote. Vin, I think right off the bat, I remember Mark Cerny and that weird
the tech
game developer no, not the tech demo, but when he gave that conference
when we watched that at 7 a.m.
Yes, that was brutal.
That was a fun day.
That was a fun day. I remember him saying that the 800 gigabyte SSD that comes in on a PlayStation 5 is not as big of a deal as we think it is, because the console allows for very fast download speeds. So if you can just swap out games on your hard drive as quickly as possible within a few minutes, right? If you're to say like, I'm able to download a new game within an hour, right? Then it takes the work out of trying to coordinate which games you're gonna have installed or not have installed and have to worry about. So if you basically said like, oh, it'll take me an hour to completely reinstall Destiny 2, it's easier to make that decision to take Call of Duty Warzone off.
Yep.
Because you're like, oh, probably not going to play Warzone today. Pop that off, pop Destiny 2 on, play that. Oh, the boys send me a text saying they want to play Warzone tonight. Yep. All right, boom, take off Destiny 2, reinstall Call of Duty Warzone.
It's a pain,
have that bad boy.
It's easier
now.
It's a pain, but it's easier now.
It's like kind of a pain. I think it's less of a pain.
Yeah.
Than we think. In theory. This is all in theory. Right.
Yeah.
Vin, what are your thoughts?
This is just one programmer saying that that these game sizes are going to skyrocket. We don't really know, and we don't know the optimization that some developers have, like how they're going to get their games lower. But this is going to be a problem that every single person is trying to work on. I am sure they're going to be able to get game file sizes down smaller.
Yeah.
Think about this, James. I don't know if this makes any sense.
Okay.
Let's say you were going to buy a 1 terabyte hard drive 10 years ago.
Okay.
How expensive would that be?
1 terabyte hard drive, probably about $100.
No way. 10 years ago? Probably like
200?
$400 for a terabyte 10 years ago.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling storage gets way cheaper and smaller as the year goes on.
Okay. So you're thinking like $400.
Okay, maybe like 200. Maybe that's more right. Yeah, you're probably right. 200. Anyways, I got a 4 terabyte hard drive for $60, and it's probably way smaller than that 1 terabyte 10 years ago. You know?
For your PC?
No, it's just like an external hard drive.
Oh, okay. Dang, that's hella cheap.
Yeah, so I think they're finding there's ways that they're making storage physically smaller on things. That means there needs to be a way to get file sizes smaller also. Not to say that those file sizes literally take up physical space. I know that doesn't make sense, but there's got to be a way that in the future that like large files will be able to become much smaller based on new optimization, new types of hard drives, new ways of downloading. There's some sort of way. Obviously, I'm not very educated in the ins and outs of a hard drive. But this is going to be a problem that everybody faces. I'm sure there's going to be a fix.
Yeah.
Not a fix, but like continually it'll get better.
Sure.
I'm not too worried about it.
Yes. I'm curious if there's anything that cloud storage has any sort of could remedy this in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I don't know that much about cloud storage and how it works, or enough in order to make a
informed
opinion. Thank you. But
yeah, fair enough.
It seems like something that could work. I don't know.
I think so too.
I don't know.
Okay.
But we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Now it's time for random fun stuff. 3 items on random fun stuff today. James, take the first one.
Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales for PS5 will have 4K 60 FPS performance mode. This is a little important because people were scrutinizing the PS5 for not being able to run 4K 60 frames per second.
But here it is. It can run 4K 60.
Here it can. Yep. And we'll see if it'll be able to do it consistently when the game comes out.
I hope so. Tactical action shooter Rogue Company came out a couple days ago for Switch, PS4, PC, and Xbox One. I've watched some gameplay. It looks pretty fun, but apparently they updated it on day 3 or 2 for like cheaters and stuff like that, and for some gameplay bugs and stuff, and apparently it completely broke the game. So I would not recommend playing it till they do another update. But it looks super fun.
What kind of game is it?
Third person. It's a third person shooter. There's like an arena, or like there's maps and stuff, and I don't really know the objective. I haven't watched that much of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. Dreams receives a VR update. This is cool.
Yep. You can finally play Dreams in VR if you have a PlayStation VR. So, not a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's it. That's random fun stuff for the day.
And that's strictly casual, baby.
Not strictly casual.
Finn, my Persona 5 just came.
Really?
Would you like to see the Steelbook wrap?
Do you want to give me a quick unboxing on the podcast?
Quick unboxing on the podcast. Here you go,
Give me a quick. That rip open was so loud that your mic muted itself. There we go.
Incredible. All right. Here we got.
Wow.
Persona 5.
She looks nice. Oh, the glare. Bright. There you go. Just tilt it a little bit the other way. Yeah.
There. Now, I think what we got going on here is we got a 2-layer of... Oh, I got a free dynamic theme with this.
Hey.
All right. It's always you knife that corner.
Yep. Here's the peel.
It's a little bunched up. Here's the peel of the wrap, right? And you get the... All right. How does this work? Whoop. Slide this down.
Oh, baby.
And here it is, baby. There's
give
the
me the
box
back
art.
side of that.
Wait, let me give you the... Oh, God.
No.
The disc is loose. The disc is loose. Disc is loose. And here is the entire...
That does look very nice.
Look at that. I can't wait to play this game.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it, James.
I cannot wait. I'll be streaming this to my personal Twitch, twitch.tv.com. Wait, no, that's not it at all. Twitch.tv/strictlyyamas. I never get it right, but I will be playing this and commentating it, giving live reactions. It'll be great.
Yeah,
come join me.
Come by, stop by. We're all gonna be hanging out and chat while he plays. It'll be a fun time.
It'll be a great time.
That's it. That wraps up episode 25 of the Strictly Casual podcast. If you haven't already, join our Discord server down below. You can keep updated with all of our streams, both separately and the Strictly Casual podcast stream, our updates on our video uploads and all that good stuff. James, I don't know. I would say we're building a small little community on Discord, and I'm loving it.
I think so. I'm loving it. We got about 23-ish people in there right now?
Something like that. It's you know what? It's a humble start.
It's a humble start.
And I'm loving every second. If you want to be a part of it, there's a link right under the description of this video. Please join us. Say what's up. Yeah. And that's that.
Please do. That's that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.